Logan from with the Backwoods Institute. In this video right here, it's part of our Hunting on a Budget series. It's going to cover the topic of food plots. Now, know that food plots are not necessary to harvest deer, but I'm going to be showing, if you do choose to go with a food plot, I'm going to be showing you how to do it on a budget, without any heavy equipment, no tractors, no ATVs, and it's no secret. We all know that the more tools or more equipment you have at your disposal, the less time you're going to spend planting a food plot. It doesn't make it more productive or not. And I'm going to cover two different types of food plots that I view are two different types of food plots. Which one will benefit the hunter on a budget and how to go about planting it. So with that, let's get started. You're going to be hearing cars going by. I just bought 17 acres of land along a major road, and the neighbor's got over 100 acres that way of me. So I just got to figure out how to get deer onto this property. So that's why I'm going to be planting food plots. It's not necessary, and I'm going to show you. Right here, I'm scanning across the food plot area that I raked out, and I want to get to this right here. All right, this is deer droppings, and they're wet. It's about 2 in the afternoon, so that's telling me that there's already deer movement through daylight hours in this area. But I'm still going to plant a food plot because I want it on my property. All right, back to the topic of the classifications of food plots. There's two different types that I view. One is going to be on the large scale for quality deer management. Yeah, deer have natural forages to go through. They have some crops if you're in the crop belt or anything like that. But by planting food plots, you're ensuring that they're getting, by your selection of what you plant, you're ensuring that they're getting nutrition throughout the whole year. So that's on the large scale. For the budget, the hunter on a budget, it's not that case. All right, that can get pretty expensive. You'll need some heavy equipment, some tractors, discs, you know, some tillers maybe. All right, the other type of classification that I view is on the small scale food plots. The half acre, the quarter acre food plot bags that you can buy, and you can set them up pretty well anywhere. I recommend doing that for a hunter on a budget. You can set up multiple quarter acre or half acre food plots in an area and strategically place them where you want to hunt them throughout the year. Those aren't the best for quality deer management. They're going to give them something to eat, but they're more as an attractive food plot. A lot of those food plots they get planted during the fall time of the year to be there whenever it comes deer season. So for a hunter on a budget, that's the best food plot that I view. And I'm going to show you how you can go about your site selection and setting up this type of food plot. When you choose a site selection for your food plot, you got to think about, are deer going to visit this food plot during legal hunting hours, during daylight? All right. What ensures that is top quality cover, concealment all around from this food plot. But on the other hand, you also need sunlight. All right. So you can't go deep in the middle woods and try to throw out a food plot of clover. It's not going to work. It's not getting enough sunlight. All right, here's an example of an area that gets excellent sunlight throughout the day. Whenever I bought this property, they logged it right before I bought it, which I wasn't too happy about, but it did open up a lot of avenues for me to plant some food plots. Right here, like I said, adequate sunlight throughout the day. We got some pokeberries, we got some nettles in here. Over here, underneath the canopy of the trees, we don't have very good undergrowth. So that wouldn't be a good food plot site selection. You may find patches like this throughout the woods. Maybe a tree blew down during the spring storm or something, and this could be an opportunity to plant a food plot in that area. All right, another thing to think about your location of your food plot is how you're going to hunt it. Are you going to plant an early season food plot or a late season such as turnips? And what's the prevailing wind during that time that you plan on hunting your food plot? For me, early season in southern Indiana, wind's coming from mostly the southwest. So I'm going to set up where my scent is going to carry away from where I think the deer are going to come into my food plot. And during the late season, it's vice versa. Wind's coming from the north, so if I'm planting a spot of turnips, I want to set up where the north wind is going to carry my scent away from where I think that the deer are going to be coming into this food plot area. This is what you need to do now. You need to clear the area of all underlying vegetation that you're going to use. Whether it be saplings, pokeberries, other types of weeds. You can do that by spraying. If you spray, make sure that it falls within your window that you want to plant. If you use a ground clear, a lot of times you can't plant for 6 months because it'll kill whatever's trying to germinate. So if you spray, make sure you take that into effect. What you do is you can just mow it down. All right. If you had access to a push mower or a weed eater, if not, then you got a hatchet, you got a garden hoe, you can chop there, pull them weeds out, and get your area ready for just to make it bare dirt. So I'm going to take this axe and I'm going to get rid of some of these pokeberries in here, just chop them off and throw them over the brush pile here. All right, next thing to think about is your soil. There's 3 different types of soil. There's acidic, there's neutral, and there's alkaline soil. Based on the scale of 0 to 14, the pH level, if it's 7, it's neutral. If it's less than 7, then it's acidic. If it's over 7, then you got alkaline soil. And there's different methods to treat whatever your soil content might be, your pH level might be. Probably the best money you can spend is either on a soil test kit or send your soil off to get analyzed, the pH level, either through your farmer's co-op or you can search online. You might have to ship it somewhere. That can take anywhere from 2 days to, a couple weeks. But that's probably your best bet, because not only are they going to be able to tell you what your pH level is in your soil, they're also going to tell you what nutrients that soil is lacking, and they can tell you if you want to fertilize it, what to put on there. Now, soil in my area is usually acidic. The way to remedy that is with lime. Ag lime costs about $3 a 50-pound bag, but that can get expensive, right? I've heard of people having to put 2 tons of lime, ag lime, on an acre just to get it to that neutral, basically neutral pH level where things can grow. Now, some plants like more acidic levels of soil, some plants like more alkaline. The majority of plants grow between 6 and 7 though. So if you can get close to there, you're going to have a pretty good chance of growing your budget food plot. Alright, I talked about the soil sample and the soil test kit. It is a good option. It is a good investment if you want to, but sometimes Mother Nature can tell you what your soil level is. So I'm going to talk about that right now. Alright, one thing you do to kind of bypass the soil test kit is not always going to be 100% accurate. Soil test kit is going to be the best option, but if you don't want to spend the money on that, you can see what plants are growing in that area, right? If this is my food plot, which it is, I'm going to go around here and we're going to see what type of plants are growing, and then we're going to research them and see what type of soil they like to grow in, and we're going to try to find an average. All right, we got back, we did some research, just went on the internet, typed in, let's take pawpaw for an instance. What type of soil does pawpaw like to grow in? Pawpaw likes 5.5 to 7, all right? Beech, we had some beech trees, 7.5. The poplar, 6.5 or 6 to 7.5. So them 3 plants right there tell me that my soil is somewhat in that neutral range, between 5.5 and 7.5, okay? 6 and 7, like I said, being the ideal soil pH level to grow the majority of your plants. We also had some honeysuckle over here. Honeysuckle grows, it has kind of a broader spectrum. It grows between 4.5 or 4.9 and 7.8. All right, so it has a little more of span that it can grow in. Use this as your guide to test your soil by just seeing what's around. Mother Nature will tell you. Is it going to be 100% accurate as if you would take it and get your soil tested? No. But if you want to save money, it's an option. Now, let's talk about fertilizer. If you spent the money for a soil test and they say, hey, you're lacking this is what you need to fertilize with, and you choose to do so, that's fine. That's the reason you got your soil test, for the pH level and to see what kind of nutrients your soil was lacking. If you chose the method that I just showed you, let Mother Nature tell you, and you still want to put some fertilizer down, I recommend going with a lighter load of fertilizer, such as like a triple 13, something all-purpose, because you don't know the exact what your soil has too much of or is lacking, so you can kind of give it a well-rounded approach if you want to choose to use fertilizer as well. That can run, between $12 to $15 a bag of fertilizer if you want to. If you buy fertilizer, or if you buy your food plot seed from a manufacturer, it'll tell you what you need, what the fertilizing ratio is per acre, or per the quarter acre. All right, be careful when you lime. You need to lime a few months in advance. Some people recommend up to 6 months in advance, because if you throw your lime in the soil, usually, like crop-wise, you disc it in and it gets in there and it brings that soil to the right pH. If you just throw it on top, you want to work it in. So you either use a rake or a garden tiller, or something you can get into the woods with, or your area, and get it into the soil. But then be careful, you need that window of time, because if you would throw your seeds down right away, right after that, your seedlings are going to get burned up by that lime. They ain't going to sprout. So there needs to be a window of time, and that's different with the amount of lime you put down and the amount of rainfall you get. So just be aware of that if you lime, there needs to be a window of time before you seed. Same thing with fertilizer. If you use a powerful fertilizer, you need to let that fertilizer dissipate into the soil before you cast your seed.